Imagine that science and health, education, and the law in the legislative process are not founded in truth. What happens to it if the figures are mixed, if the figures are fudged, if the figures are hedged? Then you can be describing Mexican politics, and you can be describing Russian politics, and you can be describing Chinese politics. The difference between a democratic society is not the Constitution. It's the attention to the common good, and the common good depends upon integrity. And the extent to which luxury allows us, or the excesses in wealth allows us to disregard integrity, to that extent the whole process is in jeopardy. The ultimate source of our dysfunction, and we're talking about dysfunction, is in steady after steady, is wealth disparity. Huge wealth disparity. Not just a little wealth disparity. All of us are probably in the 1%. I'm not talking about the 1%. I'm not talking about the 99%. I'm talking about the 0.01%, the 1,000ths of 1%. Huge wealth disparity is the source of the problem. And when we have that kind of wealth disparity, the result in the population as a whole is rage, helplessness, cynicism, and mistrust. Mistrust underlies the inability to get people to participate in politics. Mistrust underlies people's unwillingness to vote or to register. Mistrust can come from the fact that I live on the side of town where I can never see the stepping stones the other side of town. I never can see the way to become a state legislator. I never can see the way to become a rich man because the gap is too great. That mistrust breeds rage and furious, intense hostility. And that breeds a whole series of problems. It breeds teenage pregnancy. It breeds obesity. It breeds dropout in high school. It breeds lack of social mobility. It breeds limited life expectancy. And the greater the degree of the wealth gap, the greater each of those problems become in these cities. You just need to know the degree of the wealth gap, and you will know where you stand compared to the rest of the developed countries in the world in terms of teenage pregnancy or dropouts in schools. All you need to know, say these studies, is that where you are, because the wealth gap undermines the trust, creates the cynicism, and creates the dysfunction of American democracy. To restore governmental function in the U.S., therefore, we need to pry government away from the grip of the very, very, very wealthiest and return government to the whole of the people. To do that, we must take corporate money out of politics. And to do that, we have to amend the Constitution, either to declare that corporations are not people and that money is not speech, or in the alternative, to limit the power of the Supreme Court. More significantly, probably, than any of these measures, however, we have to revive our understanding that compassion and generosity are part of our genetically programmed human makeup. Ayn Rand was not right. We humans will survive together, or we will not survive at all. It is participation by the greatest numbers, opportunity spread through the greatest numbers, and education possible for the greatest numbers that turns history on its head as we attempted in 1776. The traditional, classic nexus of wealth and power is in the long run unstable, unsavory, and unfair. They don't have a word for fair in Russian, but we do. Democracy is flawed, but it is better for more of the people, more of the time, than government by the super rich, directed by super PAC slogans and the super undemocratic Supreme Court.